There was a boy. Every single day he would pray to Allah. "Oh Allah, make my life easy. Oh Allah, grant me success." He would go to the mosque. He would offer his prayers. But still, his life wasn't getting any easier. One day he became exhausted. And he said, "Oh Allah, are my prayers not reaching you?" This question is not just his question. It lives somewhere in all of our hearts. The truth is, Allah never ignores anyone's prayer. Every prayer is heard. Every voice is heard. Every tear is seen. But not every prayer is answered immediately, because sometimes we ourselves stand in the way of our own prayers. So what is that one mistake? We don't fully trust Allah. With our tongues we say, "Oh Allah, I believe in you." But deep inside our hearts, there is doubt. We make dua, and at the same time we think, "I don't know if this will happen. Maybe my prayer won't be accepted." And that is the very moment when our prayer becomes weak. Think about it. If you ask someone for help, but at the same time you doubt them, will they truly help you with their heart? Of course not. In the same way, when we ask Allah, but our hearts are filled with doubt, we weaken our own prayers. Faith is the soul of dua. When you ask with complete certainty, things begin to change. Because Allah does not just see your words, He sees the belief inside your heart. Someone once asked a wise man, "I make dua, but it doesn't get accepted. Why?" The wise man replied, "When you make dua, do you truly believe that Allah will respond?" He said, "No, sometimes I doubt." The wise man smiled and said, "Then you are not making dua. You are only saying words." Our biggest mistake is this. We ask Allah, but we trust the world more. We say, "If I get a job, everything will be fine. If I get money, my problems will be solved." But we forget, the one who gives everything is Allah. Until your heart changes, your prayers will not change. It's not just your words that need to change. It's your belief. So from today, when you make dua, don't just ask. Ask with certainty, because a prayer never stops, as long as belief is alive. Have you ever thought why some people's prayers are accepted quickly, while others keep praying for years, and nothing changes? Does Allah make a difference? No. Allah is the same for everyone. The difference is only one thing: the state of the heart. When impatience enters the heart, when a person gives up too soon, when they say, "I prayed so much but nothing happened," that is the moment when the prayer stops. Because dua is not just about asking, it is also about patience. Have you noticed, when you are extremely worried about something, you keep making dua again and again, but your heart feels restless? Why? Because you are asking, but at the same time you are afraid. And where there is fear, faith becomes weak. We all want our prayers to be answered immediately, but Allah has His own timing. Sometimes He gives instantly, sometimes He delays, and sometimes He gives something even better. But what do? We rush, and that rush becomes our biggest mistake. There was a man who prayed every day, "Oh Allah, grant me success." Years passed. Nothing changed. One day in frustration he said, "Oh Allah, why don't you listen to me?" That night he had a dream. A voice said, "We hear every one of your prayers, but we will give it to you when you are ready for it." He woke up, and that day he realized the problem was not his prayer. The problem was his preparation. Sometimes we ask Allah, "Oh Allah, change my situation," but we don't change ourselves. We keep repeating the same mistakes, the same sins, the same habits, and then we expect everything to change. That's not how it works. Until you change yourself, your prayers will not change. Another major reason that blocks our prayers is sin. When a person keeps doing wrong and never repents, their heart becomes heavy, and when the heart is heavy, the prayer does not rise. So what is the solution? Heavy check mark sincere repentance. Heavy check mark asking for forgiveness from the heart. Heavy check mark accepting your mistakes. And most importantly, returning back to Allah. When you take one step towards Allah, He comes 10 steps towards you. From today, make one decision. Whenever you make dua, say it with certainty: my prayer will be accepted. Because nothing is impossible for Allah. If your prayer has not been accepted yet, don't lose hope. Maybe Allah is preparing something greater for you. Maybe He is protecting you from something you cannot see. Remember, every prayer is answered. Just the timing and the way are different. So from today, make dua with belief, with patience, with sincerity, because Allah never turns away a sincere heart empty. Sometimes, Allah stays silent because He wants you to come closer. He wants to hear your voice. He wants to see your tears. He wants to feel your heart. That silence is not rejection. It is an invitation. Remember that moment when you were completely broken, when you had no way left, when everyone left you, and then you raised your hands and said, "Oh Allah." That moment is the most powerful, because in that moment, you have no one except Allah. The real test is not whether you make dua or not. The real test is this: when your prayer is not answered, do you still trust Allah? That is the point where most people give up, and some people come even closer to Allah. A turning point will come in your life where everything will change, but it will not come when you. The truth is, if every prayer of yours was accepted instantly, you would never learn patience, never grow closer to Allah, never change yourself. That is why some prayers are delayed, so you can become stronger. Ask yourself one question today. Do you only ask Allah, or do you truly love Him? If dua is only asking, then the relationship is incomplete. But if dua is love, then every answer becomes beautiful. From today, when you make dua, don't just focus on your desire. Trust the wisdom of Allah. If He gives the best. If He doesn't, He protects you with something better. Maybe your prayer hasn't been accepted yet, but remember, Allah has heard your voice, seen your tears, and knows your heart, and He will never leave you alone. So never lose hope, because your prayer is on its way. It's just waiting for the right time.